If you call 911, my babies die. The man's blood was pooling on the wet pavement, mixing with rain, but his grip on those two car seats never loosened. Emma's phone was already in her hand, 911 half-dialed, when she saw his face, gray, dying, desperate. Behind him, headlights swept the alley. Someone was coming back to finish the job. The twins were screaming, their tiny fists punching air. And this stranger was begging her with his last breath, "Please, they're all I have left." She had 3 seconds to decide. 3 seconds to choose between doing the right thing and doing the only thing that mattered. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and stay until the end. Comment your city below so I can see how far this story reaches. Now let's begin. The headlights were getting closer. Emma's finger hovered over the call button. Every instinct screamed dial. Get help. Let professionals handle this. Go home. Forget you ever saw this. But the babies were screaming. Please, the man's voice cracked. Don't let them take my children. The car turned into the alley. High beams flooded the space behind the dumpster where they were crouched. Emma made a decision that would destroy her life. Can you stand? I don't know. Try now. She shoved her phone in her pocket and grabbed his arm. He was massive, easily 6'2", solid muscle under the blood-soaked shirt. When he tried to stand, his leg buckled, and he went down hard, nearly crushing one of the car seats. No, no, no. His hands flew to the baby carrier, checking frantically. Marco, are you? The car was 50 feet away. We don't have time. Emma yanked him up with strength she didn't know she had. My car, right there, move. The babies. I've got them. She grabbed both car seats. God, they were heavier than they looked, and ran. Her ancient Honda was parked illegally by the dumpster tickets shoved under the wipers. Emma threw open the back door and shoved the first car seat inside. The second one. The man stumbled after her, leaving a blood trail. The approaching car stopped. A door opened. Get in, Emma screamed. He fell into the passenger seat just as she slammed the door. Emma threw herself behind the wheel, turned the key, please start, please, and the engine coughed to life. She reversed without looking, heard someone shout, then gunned it toward the street. A gunshot cracked the air. Emma's back window exploded. She screamed and swerved, barely missing a parked delivery truck. The babies were shrieking. The man beside her was trying to turn around, trying to see. Stay down! Emma yanked him back. Who's shooting at you? People who want me dead. Why pastalam? Because I know too much. Another shot. This one took out her side mirror. Emma ran the red light at Atlantic Avenue, horns blaring around her. Her heart was trying to punch through her ribs. The car behind them was still following, black SUV tinted windows, professional. Where do I go? She shouted. Anywhere, just lose them. I'm a waitress, not a stunt driver. Then drive like you're late for work. Emma took a hard right onto a residential street, then a left, then another right. The buildings blurred. The SUV stayed with them, matching every turn. These weren't random thugs. These were people who knew what they were doing. They're not giving up, Emma said. They won't. Why? What did you do? I tried to leave. The SUV pulled up beside them. Emma could see the passenger window rolling down. Hold on. She slammed the brakes and cranked the wheel. Her Honda fishtailed, spun 180 degrees, and somehow ended up facing the opposite direction. Emma floored it before her brain could catch up. The SUV tried to follow, but overshot, crashing into a parked car. Where did you learn to drive like that? The man gasped. Brooklyn, Emma said. Now tell me where we're going before they call for backup. Your place. Where do you live? You want to bring them to my apartment? They already know my face. They don't know yours. Emma's hands were shaking on the wheel. This is Cincinnati. I know. I don't even know your name, Vincent. He coughed and blood flecked his lips. Vincent Moretti. Moretti. Emma's stomach dropped. She'd lived in Brooklyn long enough to know that name. Everyone knew that name. Oh God, you're actually, I'm helping the mob. Former mob. That's not better. Vincent coughed again, harder this time. His face had gone from gray to white. Emma, that is your name, right? Emma. How do you know your name tag? He gestured weakly at her chest. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. But if you dump me on the street right now, Dead in 5 minutes, and my kids, his voice broke. They're 3 months old. They don't have anyone else. The babies had stopped screaming. Emma glanced in the rearview mirror and saw them staring at her with huge dark eyes, waiting to see what she'd do. Where's their mother? Dead. Help childbirth. Vincent's eyes closed. She died bringing them into the world. And I promised her I'd keep them safe. Emma drove in silence for 3 blocks. Her apartment was 2 more blocks north. She could still turn around, could still drop him at a hospital and disappear, could still save herself. Instead, she turned north. 5th floor, she said, and you better not bleed out on my stairs. Why, getting Vincent up 5 flights was a nightmare wrapped in a horror show. He could barely stand. His right side was soaked through with blood. Yeah, the bullet had gone clean through just above his hip. But the exit wound was the size of Emma's fist. Every step made him gasp, made him bite down on sounds that wanted to be screams. The babies were crying again, full-lung, furious crying that echoed through the stairwell. Almost there, Emma lied. They were on the 2nd floor. Mrs. Chen opened her door. Emma, what on earth? Family emergency, Emma called without stopping. Everything's under control. That doesn't sound under control. Just please, Mrs. Chen, pretend you didn't see us. The old woman's eyes went from Emma to Vincent to the babies and back again. Then she stepped back and closed her door. Thank God for Brooklyn neighbors who knew when not to ask questions. By the 3rd floor, Vincent couldn't walk anymore. Emma half-dragged, half-carried him, the car seats banging against her shins with every step. Her arms were screaming. Her back was screaming. The babies were screaming. I'm sorry, Vincent kept saying. I'm sorry. Save your breath. 4th floor. Emma's legs were rubber. Vincent's weight was crushing. The blood trail behind them looked like something from a crime scene. It is a crime scene, Emma thought hysterically. I'm the crime scene. 5th floor. Finally. Emma's apartment door had never looked so beautiful. She fumbled with her keys, dropped them, grabbed them again. Got the door open. Vincent collapsed the second they were inside. Just dropped like someone cut his strings, barely missing the babies. Emma kicked the door shut and stood there panting, trying to remember how to breathe. The apartment looked different with a dying mobster in it. Smaller, cheaper, more pathetic. Okay, Emma said to herself. Okay, first aid. Where's bathroom? Right. She ran to the bathroom and grabbed everything, the tiny first aid kit her mom had given her, every towel she owned, the rubbing alcohol she used for cleaning. When she came back, Vincent had somehow gotten himself onto the couch, leaving blood smears across her cushions. The babies were still in their car seats, screaming. Emma stared at them, at him, at the disaster her life had become in the last 20 minutes. I don't know what I'm doing, she said. You're doing fine, Vincent managed. I'm really not. The babies need... I know what they need. I just don't know how to. Emma stopped, took a breath. One thing at a time. You are bleeding out. That comes first. She knelt beside the couch and lifted his shirt. The wound was worse than she'd thought. Ragged, deep, still pumping blood. This needs a hospital. No hospitals. Vincent, you're going to die. Better than my kids growing up in the system. They can't grow up at all if you're dead. Then keep me alive. His hand caught hers. Please, Emma. I know I have no right to ask, but please, just tonight. Give me tonight to figure this out. His eyes were so dark, so desperate. Emma had seen that look once before in the mirror the night her mom died, and she'd realized she was completely alone in the world. You're going to owe me so big, she muttered. Then she got to work. Emma's 1 semester of nursing school came back in fragments. Sanitize, apply pressure, elevate, keep the patient conscious. She poured rubbing alcohol over the wound, and Vincent arched off the couch, biting down on his fist to keep from screaming. The baby screamed for him. I know, I'm sorry. Emma packed the wound with gauze, used her entire roll of medical tape to hold it down. Then she wrapped towels around his torso, pulling them as tight as she could. Vincent's face was gray. His lips were blue. Stay with me, Emma said. Vincent, look at me. His eyes opened, focused. The babies, he whispered. Please, I'll take care of them, I promise, but you have to stay awake. Trying. Emma grabbed the car seats and unbuckled the first baby girl, or boy. She couldn't tell. The name tag said Lucia. Girl, okay. Lucia had tiny fists and huge lungs and a face that was turning purple from crying. Hey, sweet girl. Hey, it's okay. Emma held her the way she'd seen mothers do, one hand under the head, one under the bottom. Lucia screamed louder. Yeah, I know. I'm terrible at this. Work with me here. There was a diaper bag shoved under the car seat. Emma dug through it one-handed, diapers, wipes, 2 bottles already filled with formula. Thank God. She stuck a bottle in the microwave for 15 seconds, tested it on her wrist like her sister had shown her once, and offered it to Lucia. The baby latched on like she'd been starving. The silence was immediate and blessed. Emma looked at Vincent. How long since they ate? 2 hours, maybe 3. Maybe it's been a difficult day. Emma almost laughed. Yeah, just a bit. She fed Lucia, then Marco. Changed both their diapers badly, but they stayed on. Got them settled in the car seats. By the time she finished, her hands were shaking so hard she could barely hold the second bottle. Vincent was watching her. You're good at this. I'm faking it. So am I. You're their father. Doesn't mean I know what I'm doing. He tried to sit up and immediately went gray. How bad is it? The wound bad. You need antibiotics or it'll get infected. Can you get some? Not legally. Then illegally. Emma stared at him. You want me to buy black market drugs? I want to live long enough to see my children's first birthday. The babies chose that moment to start fussing again. Emma picked up Marco and brought him to Vincent. Here, hold your son. Vincent took him with his good arm, cradling Marco against his chest. The baby settled immediately, making soft cooing sounds. Emma felt something crack in her chest. They know you come, she said quietly. I'm all they have. Not anymore. Vincent looked up at her. Emma looked away before she could see whatever was in his face. She grabbed her phone and scrolled through her contacts, stopped at a name she hadn't called in 2 years. Jake. Her ex-boyfriend? Sketchy as hell. Always knew someone who could get anything. The phone rang 4 times. Emma? That's you. I need a favor, Jake. Pause. What kind of favor? The kind you don't ask questions about. Longer pause. I'm listening. Antibiotics, strong ones, tonight. Jesus, Em, what did you get yourself into? Can you help or not? Yeah, I can help, but you owe me. Add it to my tab. I'm serious, this isn't small-time stuff. Jake, please. He sighed. 1 hour, meet me at the bodega on 5th. I can't leave. You'll have to come here. To your apartment? Yes. This is that serious, say. Emma looked at Vincent, who was whispering something in Italian to Marco, at Lucia sleeping peacefully in her car seat, at the blood soaking through her couch cushions. Yeah, she said, it's that serious. Come on. Jake showed up 45 minutes later with a brown paper bag and too many questions. Emma met him in the hallway. How much? $200? You want cheap or you want effective? Emma pulled out every bill in her wallet, rent money, grocery money, emergency money, and handed it over. Jake passed her the bag. Amoxicillin, 875 milligrams. 2 pills every 12 hours. If your friend has an allergic reaction, he won't. Emma, Jake grabbed her arm. What's really going on? Nothing I can explain. Try me. I can't. Jake, please. Just thank you for this, but I need you to go. He studied her face. Emma knew what he was seeing, exhausted, terrified, and way over her head. Finally, he nodded. Call me if you need anything else. I will. I mean it, anything. Emma waited until he was gone before going back inside. Vincent had fallen asleep with Marco still on his chest. Both of them were breathing shallow but steady. Emma grabbed the antibiotics and shook Vincent's shoulder. Hey, wake up. You need to take these. His eyes opened. What? Pills. 2 of them. Now. She helped him swallow them with water, then carefully extracted Marco and laid him back in the car seat. The baby fussed but didn't wake. You should sleep, Emma told Vincent. What about you? Someone needs to keep watch. For what? In case those guys find us. Vincent's face went hard. They won't, not tonight. How do you know? Because they think I'm dead already. Bullet to the torso, no medical help, I should be dead. You're not, though. Because of you. He caught her hand. Thank you for everything. I know you didn't sign up for any of this. No, Emma agreed. I really didn't. Why did you help me? She'd been asking herself the same question for the last hour. The honest answer was complicated. Something about his desperation, the baby's cries, the way he'd looked at her in that alley like she was the only person in the world who could save them. I don't know, she said finally. I just knew I had to. Well, Vincent settled back against the couch. I'm glad you did. Emma pulled the blanket over him and settled into the armchair. It was 2 a.m. She had to be at work in 7 hours. Her apartment smelled like blood and baby formula. There was a wanted man sleeping on her couch and 2 infants in car seats, and her entire life had just imploded. She should be terrified. Instead, she felt strangely calm. So, around 4 a.m., Vincent started burning up. Emma woke to the sound of him muttering, thrashing weakly on the couch. She pressed her hand to his forehead and swore he was on fire. Vincent, can you hear me? His eyes opened but didn't focus. Sophia. Where's Sophia? Vincent, it's Emma. You're running a fever. The wedding we have to Sophia, where are you? Shh, she's not here. She has to be here. She promised. His voice cracked. She promised she wouldn't leave me. Emma's throat closed. She ran to the bathroom and filled the tub with cold water, then soaked every towel she had. Back in the living room, she stripped off Vincent's bloody shirt and started laying the wet towels across his chest. I need you to fight this, she said. Vincent, fight. Can't. Too tired. You have 2 babies who need you. You don't get to give up. Sophia. Sophia's gone. The words came out harsher than Emma meant. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But she's gone and you're here and those babies are here. So you need to wake up and be their father. Vincent's eyes focused, really focused for the first time since the fever started. Emma. Yeah, it's me. What did I say? You called me Sophia. He closed his eyes. I'm sorry. Don't be. Just don't die on me, okay? That's all I ask. The fever didn't break until dawn. Emma spent the entire night changing towels, forcing water between Vincent's lips, checking on the babies every 20 minutes. They slept through the whole thing, which felt like a miracle. When the sun finally started coming through the windows, Vincent opened his eyes. I'm alive. Barely, Emma said. She was exhausted. Her clothes were soaked with sweat and water from the towels. How do you feel? Like I got shot. Good, that means you're lucid. The babies woke up crying, perfectly synchronized again. Emma had just enough energy to make bottles and change diapers before collapsing back in the chair. You need to sleep, Vincent said. Can't. I have work in 2 hours. Call in sick. I can't afford to call in sick. Emma. I'm a waitress at a diner in Brooklyn. I don't get sick days. I don't get vacation. If I don't show up, I don't get paid. Vincent was quiet for a moment. Then, how much do you need? What? For the day. How much would you make? I'm not asking you for money. I'm offering. Vincent, 200 for him. Emma stared at him. Where would you even get that kind of money? He smiled slightly. I told you, I used to be in the mob. Used to be. Doesn't mean I don't have resources. Emma wanted to argue, wanted to tell him that she didn't need his mob money, didn't want anything to do with that world. But her rent was due in 3 days, and she was already short. 200, she said quietly. That's what I'd make today. Done. I don't have change I'm not asking for change. Vincent shifted on the couch, wincing. There's a wallet in my back pocket. Take what you need. Emma hesitated, then reached under him and pulled out a leather wallet. When she opened it, she nearly dropped it. There had to be $5,000 inside, maybe more. Vincent, take 200 or take more, whatever you need to not go to work today. This is insane. This whole situation is insane. Might as well get paid for it. Emma pulled out $200 bills and put the wallet back. The money felt dirty in her hand. Blood money, probably, literally. Thank you, she made herself say. Thank you. You saved my life. That's worth more than $200. The baby started fussing again. Emma picked up Lucia and brought her to Vincent, then settled in the chair with Marco. They fed the babies in silence, just the sound of the twins drinking and the city waking up outside. Can I ask you something? Emma said eventually. Yeah. Why did you try to leave the mob? I mean, people don't just leave. Vincent's face went dark. Because I watched my wife die, and I was holding my newborn children, and I realized this life I'd built, this empire, none of it mattered. The only thing that mattered was them. He looked down at Lucia. So I told my boss I was done, wanted out. And he said no. He said I knew too much, that I was a liability, that the only way out was in a body bag. So he sent people to kill you. Yeah, why not just disappear? Take the kids and run. I tried, got as far as the alley behind your diner before they found me. Vincent's jaw clenched. I was going to die in that alley as Emma, and my kids were going to end up in foster care, and Sophia's last wish that they'd be raised together, that they'd be loved, all of it would have died with me. But it didn't. No, because you came along. Emma looked at Marco, who had finished his bottle and was staring at her with those huge dark eyes. What happens now? I don't know. You can't stay here forever. I know. And they'll keep looking for you. Probably. So what's the plan? Vincent was quiet for a long moment. Then, Oadi, I need to make a phone call. To who? Someone who can help, someone who owes me a favor. Another mobster. Former mobster like me. He smiled slightly. We have a whole network. People who got out, who want to help others get out. That's a thing. It's a small thing, but yeah. Emma stood and handed him her phone. Make your call. I'm going to take a shower and pretend this is all a very weird dream. Emma, yeah, thank you for everything. I mean it. She nodded and headed for the bathroom. Behind her, she heard Vincent dialing, heard him start talking in low, urgent Italian. In the shower, Emma let herself break down, just for a minute, just long enough to cry out the terror and the exhaustion and the absolute insanity of the last 6 hours. Then she dried her eyes, got dressed, and went back to being whoever she needed to be to survive this. When she came out, Vincent had finished his call. Well, Emma asked, he's sending someone. Should be here in a few hours. Who's coming? A friend. He'll bring new IDs, new papers for the kids, everything we need to disappear. And then what? Then we're gone. You'll never see us again. Emma should have felt relieved. Instead, she felt something that might have been disappointment. Right, she said. Good, that's good. The babies were sleeping again. Emma looked at them, Lucia and Marco, 3 months old, completely unaware that their lives were about to change forever. Where will you go, she asked. Somewhere small, quiet, where no one knows the Moretti name. Sounds nice. Yeah, Vincent was watching her. You could come with us. Emma's heart stopped. What? Come with us. The kids already trust you. And he stopped, started again. I could use the help, if you're willing. Vincent, I know it's crazy. I know you have a life here, but think about it. No more waitressing, no more struggling to make rent. Just a fresh start for all of us. Emma opened her mouth to say no, to say this was insane that she barely knew him, that she couldn't just abandon everything. Instead, she heard herself say, let me think about it. Vincent nodded. That's all I'm asking. A knock at the door made them both freeze. Expecting someone? Emma whispered. Not for another 2 hours. They stared at each other. Emma's heart was trying to punch through her ribs. Another knock, louder this time. Emma, a woman's voice. Emma, honey, it's Mrs. Chen. I know you're in there. Emma exhaled. Mrs. Chen, just Mrs. Chen. She opened the door a crack. Her neighbor stood there with a covered dish and a knowing look. I made too much soup, Mrs. Chen said. Thought you might be hungry. Mrs. Chen, You don't have to explain anything to me, dear. The old woman's eyes flicked to Vincent on the couch, then back to Emma. But if you need help with those babies, you just knock on my door. I raise 5 of my own. Thank you, Emma said quietly. Mrs. Chen handed her the soup. And Emma, whatever you're mixed up in, be careful. Your mother would want you to be careful. Then she was gone. Emma closed the door and leaned against it. Neighbor, Vincent asked. Yeah, Emma looked at the soup. She made us soup. That's Brooklyn for you. Yeah, Emma brought the soup to the kitchen. That's Brooklyn. The rest of the morning passed in a strange kind of domestic rhythm. Vincent managed to sit up without passing out. Emma fed the babies, changed diapers, heated up Mrs. Chen's soup. They ate in silence, just the twins babbling between them. It felt almost normal. Almost. Then the real knock came. 3 sharp raps. A pause. 2 more wraps. That's him, Vincent said. Emma looked through the peephole and saw a man in his 60s, gray hair, expensive suit. He looked like someone's grandfather. She opened the door. Emma, I presume, the man said. I'm Frank. May I come in? Emma stepped aside. Frank walked in, took one look at Vincent, and shook his head. You look like hell, Vincent. Feel worse. I told you getting out would be messy. You didn't mention getting shot. That's because you were supposed to be smart about it. Frank pulled an envelope from his jacket. But you're alive, so I guess it worked out. He handed the envelope to Vincent, who opened it and pulled out 3 passports. Vincent Russo, he read, father to Lucia and Marco Russo, birth certificates, immunization records, everything. Should hold up to basic scrutiny, Frank said. Don't try to fly international, but for domestic travel, you're good. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. You've still got to get out of the city. Frank turned to Emma. And you're the waitress who saved his ass. Apparently, you got guts, kid, or you're crazy, probably both. Definitely both, Emma muttered. Frank smiled. Vincent tell you his offer. About going with them. Yeah, what do you think? I think it's insane. It is, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. Frank glanced at the babies. Those kids need a mother, and Vincent needs someone who doesn't know him as the killer he used to be. I barely know him at all. Sometimes that's better. Emma looked at Vincent, who was watching her with those dark, desperate eyes. At the twins sleeping peacefully. At the life she'd built in Brooklyn, small struggling, but hers. I need time, she said. You've got until tonight, Frank said. Car leaves at midnight. You're either in it or you're not. Then he was gone. Emma and Vincent sat in silence. You don't have to come, Vincent said finally. I know, but I hope you do. Emma picked up Marco and held him close. The baby's heartbeat was steady against her chest, strong, alive. Ask me at midnight, she said. Okay. But Vincent? Yeah. If I say yes, if I get in that car, you need to promise me something. Anything. Promise me this is real, that you're really out, that those men won't find us. I can't promise they won't find us, Vincent said quietly. But I promise I'll do everything in my power to keep you and my children safe, for however long you'll let me. Emma looked into his eyes and saw the truth there, the determination, the fear, the hope. Okay, she whispered, ask me at midnight. Outside, the city went on without them. People went to work, drank coffee, complained about the subway, lived their normal, uncomplicated lives. Inside Emma's apartment, 2 babies slept and 2 adults tried to figure out what came next. The clock ticked toward midnight, and Emma Collins, 26-year-old waitress from Brooklyn, stood at the edge of a choice that would define the rest of her life. The hours crawled. Emma tried to distract herself with the baby's bottles, diapers, the endless cycle of crying and soothing and crying again. But her mind kept circling back to midnight, to Frank's car, to the choice she had to make. Vincent dozed on the couch, his fever down, but his face still too pale. Every time Emma looked at him, she saw the blood seeping through the fresh bandages, saw the way he reached for his children even in sleep. You're staring, he said without opening his eyes. You're dying. Slowly. That's not funny. Wasn't trying to be. Vincent cracked one eye open. You're nervous. I'm terrified. Of leaving or staying? Emma didn't answer. She picked up Lucia and held her close, breathing in that baby smell of formula and powder and something indefinably sweet. Her phone buzzed. Ray, where are you? You said you'd be in by noon. Emma's stomach dropped. She'd completely forgotten she was supposed to work the lunch shift. Problem, Vincent asked. My boss, I told him I'd come in today. So tell him you can't. It's not that simple. Why not? Because Ray had hired her when no one else would. Because he'd covered her shifts when her mom died. Because he was one of 3 good things in her life, and she was about to lose him either way. If she stayed, he'd eventually find out what she'd done. If she left, she'd never see him again. Emma texted back, family emergency. Can't make it. I'm sorry. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. You okay, kid? Yeah, just need a few days. Take the week. But Emma, if you're in trouble, you tell me. You hear Emma's throat closed. I hear. Thank you. She set the phone down before she could say something stupid. Like goodbye. Who's Ray? Vincent asked. My boss at the diner. You care about him. He's been good to me. Then tell him the truth. Emma laughed and it came out bitter. Right. Hey, Ray, I'm harboring a fugitive mobster and his twin babies. Want to join us for breakfast? You could leave out the mobster part. Vincent. I'm serious. You don't owe me your whole life, Emma. You saved me. That's more than anyone else would have done. If you want to stay, do you want me to stay? The question hung between them. Vincent looked at her for a long moment. No, he said, finally, I want you to come with us. He stopped, started again. I want my kids to know someone like you, someone good. I'm not good, you found a bleeding stranger in an alley and brought him home. You didn't call the cops, didn't turn him in. You could have walked away a dozen times and you didn't. That doesn't make me good. That makes me an idiot. Maybe, Vincent smiled slightly, but I'm grateful for idiots like you. Marco started crying. Emma traded him for Lucia and started making a bottle. Her hands were shaking. What if I can't do this? She said quietly. Do what? Any of it. The running, the hiding, being a mother to someone else's kids. You won't be their mother. Emma looked up. Vincent was watching her with an expression she couldn't read. Sophia was their mother, he continued. No one replaces her. But you could be, I don't know, someone who cares about them. Someone who keeps them safe when I can't. And what happens when they ask about their real mother? What do I say? You tell them the truth, that she loved them so much she gave her life for them, that she was the best person I ever knew, that they have her eyes and her stubbornness and her laugh. You've heard them laugh. Not yet, but I will. Vincent's voice went fierce. I'm going to hear them laugh and watch them grow up and teach them to ride bikes and help them with homework and walk them down the aisle someday. Because that's what Sophia wanted. That's what I promised her. Emma fed Marco in silence. Outside, she heard sirens, police, or ambulance, she couldn't tell. Her heart jumped anyway. They're not for us, Vincent said. You don't know that. If they found us, they wouldn't announce it with sirens. That's not comforting. Wasn't trying to comfort you, just stating facts. The sirens faded. Emma's heartbeat didn't. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was her landlord. Rent's due Friday. You gonna make it this month? Emma looked at the $200 bills on her coffee table, at Vincent's wallet with thousands more, at the life she was maybe leaving behind. I'll have it, she typed back. Another lie. She was getting good at those. What time is it? Vincent asked. 3:30. 8.5 hours. I know. Emma, just don't. I need to think. She put Marco down and went to the window. Brooklyn stretched out below her, the bodega on the corner where she bought coffee every morning, the park where she sometimes ate lunch, the subway entrance she took to visit her mom's grave. Her entire life was in this neighborhood. 26 years of memories, good and bad. Her mom's funeral, her high school graduation, the night she dropped out of nursing school because the pressure was crushing her, the morning she'd gotten hired at the diner and felt like maybe things would be okay. And now a man she'd known for less than 24 hours was asking her to leave it all behind. I'm going crazy, she said out loud. Probably, Vincent agreed. Emma turned. This is insane, right? All of it. Completely. I should tell you no. Should put you in a cab to the airport and never think about this again. You should, but I can't stop thinking about them. Emma gestured at the babies. About what happens if I say no. If you disappear and something goes wrong and they end up alone. They won't be alone. I'll make sure. You can't make sure of anything. You're one person running from the mob with 2 infants. You could get caught. You could die. Emma's voice cracked. I keep seeing them in some foster home separated crying for each other. And I can't let that happen. So come with us. It's not that simple. Why not? Because I don't know you. Because this is crazy. Because the knock on the door stopped her cold. Vincent was up in a second, wincing but moving. Get the babies. Bedroom. Now. Vincent. Now, Emma. She grabbed the car seats and ran. Shoved them into her bedroom, closed the door. Pressed her ear against it. Another knock. Emma, it's Jake. Open up. Emma's heart was trying to punch through her ribs. She looked at Vincent, who mouthed, "Who, the guy who got the antibiotics?" Emma whispered. Vincent's face went dark. He grabbed a kitchen knife from the counter and positioned himself behind the door. Just let me handle this, Emma said. She opened the door a crack. Jake stood there with Chinese takeout and a worried expression. You okay? He asked. You sounded weird on the phone last night. I'm fine. You don't look fine. You look... He tried to peer past her. Can I come in? Now's not a good time. Emma, come on. I haven't seen you in 2 years, and then you call me at midnight asking for illegal drugs. I'm worried. I said I'm fine, and I'm saying I may believe you. Jake pushed the door wider, saw Vincent, saw the knife. Holy shit. Jake, wait. But he was already backing away, hands up. Whatever this is, I want no part of it. It's not what you think. You've got a guy with a knife in your apartment. Emma, what am I supposed to think? Vincent stepped forward. You're Jake. Yeah. And you're the guy dying of a bullet wound. How's that going for you? Better than expected. Great. Fantastic. Emma, can we talk outside? No, Emma and Vincent said simultaneously. Jake looked between them. Okay, this is officially too weird for me. I'm leaving. Emma, if you need help, real help, you call me. Otherwise, lose my number. He was gone before Emma could stop him. She closed the door and leaned against it. He's going to call the cops. No, he won't. How do you know? Because he got you illegal antibiotics. He's not exactly law-abiding himself. He's also my ex-boyfriend who still cares about me. Vincent's expression shifted. Ex-boyfriend. Why do you say it like that? Like what? Like it matters. Doesn't it? Emma stared at him. You're jealous. I'm not. You're actually jealous right now. I'm concerned. There's a difference. You're concerned that my ex-boyfriend might care enough to check on me. I'm concerned that he knows you're hiding someone and might do something stupid. Like call the cops. Like come back with friends. Emma hadn't thought of that. Jake wouldn't. You don't know what people will do when they're scared. The babies started crying again. Emma went to get them, her mind spinning. Vincent was right. She didn't know what Jake would do. Didn't know if he'd come back. Didn't know if she could trust him. Didn't know if she could trust anyone anymore. She brought the twins back out and started making bottles. Vincent had ditched the knife and was sitting on the couch again, looking exhausted. How's the pain? Emma asked. Manageable. You're lying. Yeah. She heated the bottles and handed him one. They fed the babies in silence, just the sound of sucking and the city outside. Emma kept glancing at the door, expecting another knock. Expecting Jake, expecting the police, expecting Vincent's people with guns. Nothing came. It's 4:30, Vincent said. I know. 7.5 hours. I can count. Emma. What? He looked at her. If you say no, I understand. I want you to know that. No judgment, no hard feelings. You've already done more than... Stop. Emma set down Lucia's bottle. Stop doing that. Doing what? Giving me permission to abandon you. It makes it harder. I'm trying to make it easier. Well, you're failing, Vincent smiled. Sorry. You should be. They finished feeding the babies. Emma changed diapers while Vincent watched, making occasional suggestions. It felt domestic. Normal. Like they'd been doing this for years instead of hours. Emma's phone buzzed. Unknown number. This is Frank. Car's ready. Midnight at the corner of 5th and Atlantic. Don't be late. She showed the message to Vincent. That's 2 blocks from here, she said. I know. We could walk it. If you're coming. I haven't decided. Yes, you have. Emma looked up. What is that? You've already decided. You're just afraid to admit it. You don't know that. Don't I? Vincent shifted on the couch. You could have kicked me out this morning. Could have called the cops. Could have done a dozen things to get rid of us. But you didn't. You made bottles and changed diapers and bought illegal drugs and lied to your boss. You've already chosen an Emma. You just don't want to say it out loud. Because saying it makes it real. It's already real. Emma picked up Marco and held him close. The baby's heartbeat was steady against her chest. Alive. Safe. For now. What if I can't do this, she whispered. Then we'll figure it out together. What if I mess up? What if I'm terrible at it? Then you'll be terrible at it and we'll still figure it out. Vincent, you're not alone in this, Emma. You understand that whatever you decide, whatever happens, you're not alone. The words broke something in her. Emma felt tears sliding down her face and didn't bother wiping them away. My mom died 2 years ago, she said suddenly. Cancer. I was with her at the end, held her hand while she, Emma's voice broke. And the whole time all I could think was, I'm alone now, completely alone. And I've been alone ever since, working at the diner, coming home to this empty apartment, pretending it's enough. Is it enough? No, Emma looked at Vincent. It's never been enough, but it's safe and predictable, and mine. And this isn't safe or predictable. No, but it could be yours if you want it. Emma set Marco down carefully. She went to the window again, looked out at Brooklyn, at her life. I need to pack, she said. Vincent exhaled. Yeah, Emma turned. But I have conditions. Name them. One, you tell me everything, no more secrets. If I'm doing this, I need to know what I'm walking into. Agreed, I don't know. Two, if something happens to you, if they find us, if you die, whatever, you make sure I can take care of the babies legally. Guardianship papers. Whatever it takes. Already done. Frank brought the paperwork. What? I had him draw up guardianship papers, naming you as their legal guardian if anything happens to me. Emma stared. When? This morning, when he brought the passports. You were that sure I'd say yes. I was that hopeful. Vincent's face softened. You're good with them, better than I am. They deserve someone like you. I don't know anything about kids. Neither do I. We'll learn together. Emma's phone buzzed again. Mrs. Chen this time. Whatever you're planning, be careful. And take the soup. You'll need your strength. Emma almost laughed. Of course Mrs. Chen knew. The woman probably knew everything that happened in this building. Thank you, she typed back. For everything. Don't thank me. Just be safe. Emma started packing. She didn't have much, a suitcase of clothes, some photos, her mom's jewelry box. The important things. The things that mattered. Vincent watched from the couch. That's it. I travel light. Lucky you. Emma grabbed the diaper bag and started restocking it. Formula diapers, wipes, extra clothes for the twins. Her hands moved automatically, muscle memory from the last 24 hours. What about you? She asked. What do you need? Just my kids. Everything else can burn. Vincent, I mean it. The life I had before, the money, the power, the respect, none of it matters. Sophia taught me that. Right before she died, she made me promise. Made me swear I'd give them a normal life, away from all of it. And you're keeping that promise. Trying to. Vincent stood up, slowly wincing. Come here. Emma walked over. Vincent took her hand. Thank you, he said quietly, for saying yes, for giving us a chance. Don't thank me yet. I might be terrible at this. You won't be. You don't know that. I know you saved a dying stranger because it was the right thing to do. I know you've spent the last 24 hours caring for babies that aren't yours. I know you're about to give up your entire life to keep them safe. Vincent squeezed her hand. That's not terrible, Emma. That's brave. I'm not brave. I'm terrified. Same thing sometimes. The twins started fussing. Emma picked up Lucia while Vincent got Marco. They stood there, each holding a baby, looking at each other across her tiny apartment. This is really happening, Emma said. Yeah. We're really doing this. Yeah. Okay. Emma took a breath. Okay, let's do this. The next few hours passed in a blur. Emma packed. Vincent rested. The babies cycled through crying and sleeping and crying again. Emma's phone kept buzzing, Ray checking in, her landlord asking about rent. Jake texting, are you okay, over and over, until she blocked his number. At 11 o'clock, Emma took one last look around her apartment, at the couch where her mom used to sit, at the kitchen table where they'd eaten breakfast together, at the window where she'd watched the city for 26 years. Ready? Vincent asked. No. Me neither. Emma grabbed her suitcase. Vincent took the diaper bag and one car seat. Emma took the other. They walked to the door. Wait, Emma said. She set down the car seat and went to the kitchen, grabbed Mrs. Chen's soup container, rinsed it out, wrote a note on a napkin. Thank you for everything. Take care of yourself. Emma, she left it outside Mrs. Chen's door. Then they were walking down the stairs, slowly, carefully, Vincent gritting his teeth with every step. At the third floor, Mrs. Chen's door opened. Emma! Emma stopped, turned. Mrs. Chen stood there in her bathrobe, holding a small package wrapped in newspaper. For the babies, she said. My grandmother's blessing. Keep them safe. Imha took the package. It was warm. Mrs. Chen, go before I cry. The old woman's eyes were already wet. Be happy, child. Your mother would want that. Imma couldn't speak. She nodded and kept walking. They made it to the street. The night was cold, the air sharp. Emma could see her breath. The corner of 5th and Atlantic was 2 blocks north. They started walking. Vincent was limping badly. Emma kept having to slow down to let him catch up. The car seats were heavier than they should have been. The twins were crying softly like they knew something was happening. 1 block. Emma's heart was pounding so hard she thought everyone could hear it. She kept looking over her shoulder expecting to see Jake, or the cops, or men with guns. Nobody came. 1/2 block. There, Vincent said. A black sedan sat at the corner, engine running. Frank stood beside it, checking his watch. You're early, he called. Couldn't wait, Vincent said. Frank opened the back door. Let's move. We've got a long drive ahead. Emma hesitated. This was it. The last chance to turn back, to go home, to pretend none of this ever happened. She looked at Vincent, at the twins, at the life she was choosing. Then she got in the car. Vincent slid in beside her, wincing. Frank loaded their bags into the trunk and got in the driver's seat. Everyone buckled, he asked. Yeah, Emma said. Good. Next stop, Vermont. We've got a safe house there. Small town, quiet. You'll like it. The car pulled away from the curb. Emma watched Brooklyn disappear through the back window. Her building, her street, her life. Everything getting smaller and smaller until it was gone. You okay? Vincent asked quietly. Emma looked at him, at the babies between them, at the unknown future stretching ahead. Ask me in Vermont, she said. Vincent smiled. Fair enough. The car merged onto the highway. New York City lights glittered in the distance, then faded. Emma settled back in her seat and closed her eyes. Somewhere behind them was everything she'd known. Somewhere ahead was everything she'd chosen. And in between was just this, a car driving through the night, 2 babies sleeping, and 3 people trying to outrun the past. Emma reached over and took Vincent's hand. He squeezed back. Outside, the darkness swallowed them whole. The highway stretched ahead, empty and dark. Emma couldn't sleep even though exhaustion was pulling at her like hands trying to drag her under. Vincent had dozed off beside her, his breathing shallow and ragged. The twins were silent for once, strapped into their car seats between them. Frank's eyes met hers in the rearview mirror. You made the right choice, he said. You don't know that. I've been doing this for 15 years, helping people get out, and I've learned to spot the ones who will make it. He glanced at Vincent. He's got something to live for now. That makes all the difference. What about the ones who don't make it? Frank's jaw tightened. We don't talk about those. Emma's stomach dropped. How many? Enough that I stopped counting. She looked at Vincent, at the bandages visible under his shirt, at the twins sleeping peacefully like they didn't know their father was running for his life. What happens if they find us? Emma asked. They won't. But if they do, Frank was quiet for a long moment. Then you run. You take those babies and you run as far and fast as you can. Don't look back. Don't call anyone. Just disappear. And Vincent? Vincent knows what he signed up for. Emma's hands clenched. That's not an answer. It's the only answer I've got. Frank's eyes were hard in the mirror. You want me to lie, tell you everything's going to be fine, that the Moretti family is just going to forget about their former enforcer who knows where all the bodies are buried. Vincent was an enforcer. The words hung in the air. Frank swore under his breath. He didn't tell you. Tell me what? Nothing. Forget I said anything. Frank, ask him yourself when he wakes up. Emma looked at Vincent with new eyes. An enforcer. That meant what? That he'd hurt people, killed people. She'd known he was in the mob, but somehow she'd let herself believe it was something less violent, something almost respectable. God, she was naive. Marco started fussing. Emma picked him up automatically, rocking him the way she'd learned to do over the last day. The baby settled against her chest. You're good with them, Frank observed. I'm winging it. We're all winging it. Life doesn't come with a manual. Some people need one more than others. Frank laughed. It was a rough sound, like he didn't do it often. You got that right. They drove in silence for another hour. Emma watched the mile markers slide past each one, taking her further from everything she knew. She should have felt panicked, trapped. Instead, she felt strangely calm. Maybe she was in shock. Vincent woke up with a kiss of his hand going to his side. "We're still on the highway," Emma said. "We're okay." He looked around disoriented. Then his eyes found the twins and something in his face relaxed. "How long was I out?" "2 hours. You should sleep." "Can't." "Emma, Frank told me you were an enforcer." Vincent went very still. "He told you that?" "Is it true?" "Yes." "What does that mean?" "What did you do?" Vincent looked at her for a long moment. Then he said, "I collected debts, discouraged competition, made sure people understood the consequences of crossing the family." "You hurt people?" "Yes." "Did you kill anyone?" The silence was answer enough. Emma felt sick. "How many?" "Does it matter?" Yes." "Why will it change anything? Will it make you feel better to know the exact number of lives I've taken? I deserve to know who I'm running away with." "You're running away with a man who did terrible things so his family could live." Vincent's voice was flat. "Who got his hands dirty so other people could keep theirs clean? Who became a monster because that's what the job required? And now I'm trying to be something else, for them." He looked at the twins. "I don't know if I can be. Don't know if you can scrub that much blood off, but I'm going to try." Emma didn't know what to say. Part of her wanted to demand Frank turn the car around, wanted to run as far from Vincent Moretti as she could get. But another part, the part that had brought him home from that alley, that part understood, had seen the desperation in his eyes, the love for his children, the willingness to die rather than let them grow up in his world. "How did Sophia deal with it?" Emma asked finally. "Knowing what you were," Vincent's face twisted. "She didn't. Not really. She married the boy I used to be before the mob got its hooks in me. And she spent every day hoping that boy would come back." "Did he?" "Not until it was too late." Lucia woke up crying. Vincent reached for her with his good arm wincing as the movement pulled at his wound. Emma watched him cradle his daughter, murmuring soft words in Italian. "What are you saying to her?" she asked. "That I'm sorry, that I'll do better, that she deserves a father who isn't broken." "You're not broken." "Yes, I am, but maybe," he looked at Emma, "maybe broken things can still work, if you patch them up right." Emma's throat felt tight. She turned to look out the window before Vincent could see her face. They crossed into Connecticut just after 2 in the morning. Frank pulled off at a rest stop. "Bathroom break," he announced. 5 minutes, don't wander." Emma took the twins inside while Vincent limped after her. The fluorescent lights were harsh after the darkness of the highway. A trucker gave them a curious look, young couple with infant twins in the middle of the night, but didn't say anything. In the bathroom, Emma changed diapers and tried not to think about the fact that she was now an accomplice to God knew how many crimes. Harboring a fugitive, aiding and abetting, probably half a dozen other charges she didn't know the names for. When she came out, Vincent was leaning against the wall, his face gray. "You need to sit down," Emma said. "I'm fine. You're bleeding through the bandages again. It'll hold until Vermont." "Vincent, we don't have time." Frank said 5 minutes. Emma wanted to argue. Instead, she handed him Marco and grabbed Lucia. They walked back to the car together, moving slowly because Vincent couldn't manage any faster. Frank was on the phone. He hung up when he saw them. "Problem?" Vincent asked. "Maybe. My contact in Vermont says there's been some unusual activity. People asking questions, showing photos." Emma's heart stopped. "Of Vincent?" "Yeah." "How did they find us so fast?" "They didn't. They're casting a wide net, hitting every safe house in the Northeast." Frank started the car. "We need to change the plan." "To what?" "There's another place, New Hampshire, smaller, more remote. They won't think to look there." "Why not?" "Because it's not in the network. It's my personal safe house. Off the books." Vincent shook his head. "Frank, if you take us there and they find out, they won't find out. You could lose everything. I could also sleep at night knowing I didn't let 2 babies die." Frank pulled back onto the highway. "We're going to New Hampshire." End of discussion. Emma settled back with Lucia in her arms. The baby was awake now, staring at her with those huge dark eyes. Sophia's eyes, Vincent had said. "What was she like?" Emma asked suddenly. "Sophia." Vincent didn't answer for so long, Emma thought he wouldn't. Then, she was light. In a world full of darkness, she was the only light I had. His voice was rough. She laughed at stupid jokes, sang off-key in the shower, made me promise to take her dancing even though I hated dancing. She was good, genuinely completely good, and I never understood what she saw in me. Maybe she saw who you could be. Maybe, or maybe she was just stubborn. Vincent smiled slightly. God, she was stubborn. When she went into labor early and the doctors said the babies might not make it, she looked them right in the eye and said, "My children will be fine. I'll make sure of it." And they were. Yeah, but the price, Vincent's voice broke. The price was too high. Emma reached over and took his hand. Vincent squeezed back hard enough to hurt. They drove through the night. Emma dozed off somewhere around 3, woke up at 4 when Marco started crying. Fed both babies while Vincent slept, and Frank drove in grim silence. Dawn broke over the Massachusetts border. The sky went from black to gray to pale pink. Emma had never seen anything so beautiful. Almost there, Frank said. Another hour. Where in New Hampshire? Vincent asked. Little town called Thornton. Population maybe 800. No cops, no cameras, no questions. Sounds perfect. It's not. The cabin's barely standing. No internet, spotty cell service heat that only works half the time. But it's safe. That's all we need. Emma looked at the twins, at Vincent, at the life they were building out of desperation and hope and sheer stubborn refusal to give up. What do we tell people? She asked. In town, when they ask questions. We tell them the truth, Vincent said. Mostly. Which part is the truth? That we're a family, that we're trying to start over, that we'd appreciate privacy. And if they don't give us privacy, then we move again. Emma's phone buzzed. She'd been ignoring it for hours, but this time she looked. Ray. Emma, I'm worried. Call me, please. Her eyes burned. She wanted to call him, wanted to hear his gruff voice telling her everything would be okay. But she couldn't, not without putting him in danger. She turned off her phone. You okay? Vincent asked. No, but I will be. They crossed into New Hampshire just as the sun cleared the horizon. The highway gave way to smaller roads, then to dirt paths that wound through dense forest. Frank drove like he knew every turn, every bump. Finally, he pulled up in front of a cabin that looked like it was held together by rust and prayer. Home sweet home, he said. Emma stared. You've got to be kidding. I told you it wasn't pretty. This isn't not pretty. This is condemned. It's got 4 walls and a roof. That's more than some people get. Vincent was already getting out, moving stiffly. Emma grabbed the car seats and followed. The cabin was worse up close, sagging porch, broken windows, a door that didn't quite hang straight. Inside was somehow worse. Dust everywhere. Furniture that looked like it had been there since the 70s. A kitchenette with appliances Emma didn't trust. There's a bedroom upstairs, Frank said. Bathroom's functional, mostly. Water heater's temperamental, but it works if you sweet talk it. This is insane, Emma said. This is survival. Frank dropped their bags on the floor. I'll bring supplies later today. Food, diapers, whatever you need. But for now, you stay inside. Don't go into town. Don't talk to anyone. Don't exist. For how long? Until I say it's safe. Vincent was exploring the cabin, testing the furniture, checking the windows. Emma watched him move through the space like he was casing it for weak points. Old habits, she guessed. I should check your wound, she said, later. Vincent. I said later. He turned to Frank. You're sure this place is clean? As sure as I can be. That's not an answer. It's the best answer you're getting. Frank headed for the door. I'll be back this afternoon. Don't do anything stupid. Then he was gone and Emma was alone with Vincent and the twins in a falling down cabin in the middle of nowhere. Well, she said, this is my life now. Vincent almost smiled. Could be worse. Help we could be dead. Emma couldn't argue with that. She spent the next hour making the cabin livable, sweeping floors, wiping down surfaces, setting up a makeshift changing station on the kitchen counter. Vincent tried to help, but Emma made him sit down before he bled out on the ancient carpet. The twins were fussy. Emma fed them, changed them, rocked them until they finally fell asleep in their car seats. Then she turned to Vincent. Take off your shirt. Emma, now before you pass out again. He did. The bandages were soaked through with blood. Emma peeled them off carefully and nearly gagged. The wound was infected, the edges red and swollen. This is bad. I know. You need a hospital. Can't. Vincent, this could kill you. Then it kills me, but I'm not going to a hospital and leaving my kids alone. They won't be alone. They'll have me. That's not the same. Emma wanted to scream. Instead, she grabbed the first aid supplies Frank had left and got to work. Cleaned the wound with rubbing alcohol while Vincent bit down on a towel to keep from screaming. Packed it with fresh gauze. Wrapped him up tight. You need to rest, she said when she finished. Can't. The babies, I've got the babies. You need to sleep or you're going to die. And if you die, Vincent Moretti, I will never forgive you. He looked at her for a long moment. Then he nodded and let her help him to the couch. He was asleep in seconds. Emma stood there listening to him breathe, watching the twins sleep. 3 people who depended on her now. 3 lives in her hands. She'd never felt so terrified in her life. Hours passed. Emma explored the cabin, found blankets and pillows in a closet, discovered that the water heater did indeed need sweet-talking. She fed the twins when they woke up, changed more diapers, sang lullabies she half remembered from childhood. Vincent slept through it all. Around noon, Emma heard a car approaching. She grabbed the kitchen knife, the only weapon she could find, and positioned herself by the window. Frank's car. She relaxed slightly. He came in carrying boxes. Supplies, food, water, diapers, formula. Should last you a week. A week. That's how long you need to stay invisible. After that, we'll reassess. Emma helped him unload. What's happening out there? The family's pulling out all the stops. They've got people in every major city between here and Canada. They're offering a reward. How much? $50,000. Vincent stirred on the couch. They really want me dead. Can you blame them? Frank said. You know everything. Names, accounts, operations. You're their biggest liability. So what do? You survive, you keep your heads down, and you pray they get bored and move on. Do they ever get bored? Emma asked. Frank's expression said everything she needed to know. I'll check in tomorrow, he said. Don't call me unless it's an emergency. Then he was gone again. Emma locked the door and turned to Vincent. $50,000. I know. That's a lot of money. I know. People will look for us. People will try. I know, Emma. Vincent sat up slowly. I know what we're up against, but we're going to make it. We have to. Why? Because you promised Sophia? Because I promised you. Emma's breath caught. You didn't promise me anything. Didn't I? Vincent stood up, moving toward her. Last night in the car, I took your hand and you didn't let go. That was a promise. From both of us. Vincent, I'm going to keep you safe. You and my children. Whatever it takes. Even if it kills you. Especially then. Emma wanted to argue. Wanted to tell him he was being ridiculous, that promises didn't work that way. But the look in his eyes stopped her. He meant it. Every word. Don't die, she said quietly. That's all I ask. Just don't die. I'll do my best. The twins woke up crying. Emma and Vincent moved together automatically now. Bottles, diapers, rocking, soothing. Like they'd been doing this for years instead of days. Like they were a family. Emma pushed the thought away before it could take root. They weren't a family. They were 4 people running for their lives. That's all this was. That's all it could be. But when Vincent smiled at her over Lucia's head, Emma felt something shift in her chest. Something dangerous. Something she couldn't afford to feel. Outside, the forest was quiet. Inside, the cabin creaked and settled. And somewhere in the space between safety and danger, Emma Collins tried to figure out who she was becoming. The afternoon bled into evening. Emma made dinner from the supplies Frank had brought: canned soup and crackers. Nothing fancy. Vincent managed to eat a little before exhaustion pulled him back down. Emma put the twins to bed in a makeshift crib she'd fashioned from a dresser drawer. They protested but eventually settled, making soft sleeping sounds. She stood there watching them breathe. Lucia and Marco, 3 months old, depending on a waitress from Brooklyn who barely knew how to take care of herself. You're doing fine, Vincent said from the couch. You can't know that. I can see it. The way they look at you, they trust you. They're babies. They trust everyone. No, they know. Vincent shifted, wincing. Come here. Emma walked over. Vincent patted the space beside him. Sit. You've been on your feet all day. She sat. The couch sagged under their combined weight. Outside, the sun was setting, painting the forest in shades of gold and red. It's beautiful here, Emma said. Yeah, I never thought I'd leave Brooklyn. Regret it. Emma thought about it, about her apartment, her job, her life, about everything she'd left behind. Ask me in a week, she said. Vincent smiled. Fair enough. They sat in bonds watching the light fade. Emma felt herself starting to drift off, started to let her guard down. Then headlights swept through the window. Vincent was up instantly, ignoring the pain. That's not Frank's car. Emma's heart stopped. Who? Get the babies. Bedroom, now. Vincent. Now, Emma. She ran, grabbed the twins still in their makeshift crib, got them into the bedroom and closed the door just as she heard the front door burst open. Through the thin walls, Emma heard voices. Men. At least 3 of them. And Vincent saying calmly, took you long enough. Emma had pressed her back against the bedroom door, one hand covering Marco's mouth. Before he could cry, the other holding Lucia tight against her chest. Her heart was slamming so hard she thought it would give her away. Through the door she heard footsteps, heavy boots on the wooden floor. Vincent Moretti, a man's voice. Deep, familiar somehow. You look like hell. Thanks, Tony. You look great too. Tony, Emma's mind raced. That name she'd heard Vincent mention it once. His cousin, his brother, she couldn't remember. Boss wants you back, Tony said. Tell the boss I'm retired. That's not how this works and you know it. Things change. Not this, never this. Another voice now younger. You really thought you could just walk away after everything you know. I'm not walking away, I'm protecting my family. Your family. The younger voice laughed. Sophia's dead, Vinny. Your family's dead. Emma heard something crash, Vincent's voice tight with pain. Say her name again. I dare you to. Easy, cousin, we're not here to fight. Then why are you here? To bring you home, where you belong. I don't belong there anymore. The family disagrees. Emma's arms were shaking. The twins were starting to fuss. She rocked them, desperately praying they'd stay quiet. I'm not going back, Vincent said. His voice had gone cold. Dead. Emma had never heard him sound like that. You can tell Uncle Sal's dead. Silence. Emma's breath stopped. What? Heart attack. 3 days ago. That's why we're here. The family's falling apart without leadership. We need you. No. Vincent. I said no, I'm done. I told Sal I was done before he... Vincent's voice cracked. Before. And he understood. He did. But things are different now. Marco... The name made Emma's stomach drop. Marco's trying to take over. Your brother's going to destroy everything Sal built if someone doesn't stop him. Marco can have it. The whole damn empire, I don't care. You named your son after him. I named my son after my brother when my brother was still someone worth naming a kid after. Before the drugs, before he lost his mind. Tony's voice softened. He's asking for you. Begging, actually. Says he needs his big brother. He needs rehab and a conscience. I can't help him with either. And Mom, Doing heard movement, footsteps coming closer to the bedroom door. Who else is here? The younger voice asked. No one. Don't lie to us, Vinny. We saw the baby stuff, the bottles, 2 car seats in the living room. A pause. You got the kids here. That's none of your business. The hell it's not. Those babies are Moretti's. They belong with family. They're staying with me. And who's taking care of them while you're bleeding out? Huh? Who's changing diapers and making bottles because I don't see Sophia anywhere? Vincent's voice went dangerous. Get out. Not without you. Tony, I'm warning you. You're in no shape to warn anyone. You can barely stand. Emma heard a scuffle. Something heavy hit the floor. Vincent crying out in pain. She couldn't just hide, couldn't let them hurt him. But the baby's Lucia started crying. Full lung, impossible to ignore crying. Everything went quiet. Well, Tony said, guess that answers that question. Footsteps headed straight for the bedroom. Emma backed up, clutching the twins. The doorknob turned. Don't, Vincent gasped. Tony, please, don't scare them. The door opened. A man stood there, mid-40s, expensive suit, eyes like Vincent's. He looked at Emma, at the babies. His expression shifted. Holy shit! You're not family. No. Who are you, Emma? Emma who? Just Emma? Tony studied her face. You're the one who saved him in Brooklyn. Yeah, Emma didn't answer. Tony stepped into the room. Emma stepped back. Easy, he said. I'm not going to hurt you. Then leave. Can't do that. Why not? Because my cousin's dying and those babies need someone who knows what they're doing. No offense, but you look like you're about 18 and terrified. I'm 26 and I'm managing just fine. Yeah. How long you been managing? Day, 2 days. Tony moved closer. You know how to handle a fever, an ear infection, what to do if they stop breathing. Emma's arms tightened around the twins. I'll figure it out. That's not good enough for Moretti children. They're Vincent's children, not the family's. Same thing. No, it's really not. Behind Tony, Emma could see Vincent trying to stand. He'd reopened his wound. Blood was seeping through his shirt. Your cousin needs a doctor, Emma said. He needs to come home. He needs antibiotics and rest and someone who actually cares if he lives or dies. Tony's jaw tightened. You think we don't care? I think you care about what he knows, about what he's worth to the family, not about him. You don't know anything about us. I know Vincent would rather die in an alley than go back. That tells me everything. The younger man appeared in the doorway. Tony, we need to move. Someone could have heard. Give me a minute, Paulie. We don't have a minute. Frank could come back, Vincent's voice cut through. Frank's not coming back. Everyone turned. Vincent was leaning against the wall, one hand pressed to his side. Blood dripped through his fingers. What are you talking about? Emma asked. Frank called them, told them where we were. Tony's face confirmed it. He did us a favor. Your family, Vinny. Family looks out for family. By tracking me down, by sending men with guns. We don't have guns, Paulie said. Yet, Vincent corrected. You don't have guns yet. But if I refuse to go with you, what then? You going to force me? Going to take my kids? It won't come to that, won't it? Emma's mind was racing. Frank had betrayed them. The man who'd driven them here, who'd promised safety, who'd looked her in the eye and said the cabin was off the books. All lies. I'm calling the police, she said. No, you're not. Tony's voice wasn't threatening, just tired. Because if you do, Vincent goes to prison, and those babies end up in foster care. Is that what you want? I want Vincent to have a choice. He does have a choice. Come home and help us save the family, or stay here and bleed out while his brother destroys everything. Vincent slid down the wall, his legs giving out. Emma handed Lucia to Tony. She didn't have a choice and ran to Vincent. You need to lie down, she said. I need them to leave. I need you to not die. Emma, shut up. Just shut up and let me think. She pressed her hands over his wound, trying to stop the bleeding. It wasn't working. There was too much blood, too much damage. Hospital, she said, now, or he's dead in an hour. Tony looked at Paulie. Paulie shook his head. We can't take him to a hospital. Police will ask questions. Then he dies. Is that what you want? To tell your family that Vincent Moretti bled out in a cabin because you were too scared of questions? There's a doctor, Tony said suddenly. In town, retired surgeon. He owes the family. Can we trust him? More than we can trust a hospital. Emma looked at Vincent. His eyes were unfocused. His skin had gone gray. Call him, she said. Now. Tony pulled out his phone. While he talked, Emma kept pressure on Vincent's wound. The twins were both crying now. Paulie was trying to soothe them and failing miserably. Give me Lucia, Emma said. Paulie handed her over gratefully. Emma somehow managed to hold both babies while keeping one hand on Vincent's side. It shouldn't have been possible. But terror made anything possible. Doctor's coming, Tony said. 20 minutes. He might not have 20 minutes. Then we pray. Vincent's eyes opened, found Emma's. I'm sorry. Don't. For dragging you into this. For... He coughed, blood on his lips. For everything. Save it. You're not dying tonight. Emma, I didn't give up my entire life so you could die in a cabin in New Hampshire. You owe me better than that. Vincent almost smiled. Yes, ma'am. Tony knelt beside them. Vinny, listen to me. I know you don't want to come back. I know you made promises to Sophia. But the family needs you. Marco's out of control. He's making moves that are going to get people killed. Not my problem. It is when those people include your kids. Vincent's eyes sharpened. What? Marco's paranoid. Thinks everyone's out to get him. He's already put hits on 3 of Sal's old crew. What do you think he'll do when he finds out his brother's children are alive? He wouldn't. Wouldn't he? You know what the drugs did to him. You know he's not thinking straight. Emma's blood went cold. You're saying Vincent's brother wants to kill his own niece and nephew. I'm saying Marco sees threats everywhere. And babies with Moretti blood are either allies or enemies. There's no in-between. That's insane. That's the life. Tony looked at her. You want to keep those kids safe, Vincent needs to come home and deal with Marco. Personally. Or we disappear, Emma said. New identities. New life. Somewhere Marco can't find us. You think you can hide forever. You think the family won't find you. We'll try. And when you fail, when Marco's guys track you down, what then? Emma didn't have an answer. Vincent's hand found hers, squeezed weakly. She's right, he whispered. We can disappear. Into what poverty fear running every time someone looks at you wrong? Tony shook his head. Your kids deserve better than that. They deserve a father who isn't a monster. You were never a monster, Vinny. You were a soldier. There's a difference. Not to the people I killed. The room went quiet. Emma looked at Vincent, really looked at him. At the man she'd saved, the father she'd been helping, the stranger she'd trusted with her life. How many people had he killed? How much blood was on his hands? Did it matter? The twins were still crying. Emma rocked them automatically, her mind 1,000 miles away. A car pulled up outside. Tony stood. That's the doctor. An old man came in carrying a leather bag that had seen better days. He took one look at Vincent and swore. How long's he been like this? 2 days, Emma said. Give or take. And you kept him alive with what? Prayer, antibiotics, gauze, stubbornness. The doctor almost smiled. Well, it worked. Barely. He opened his bag. Everyone out except the girl. I need space. Tony hesitated. Vinny. Go, Vincent said. Give us a minute. Tony and Polly left. The doctor got to work. Emma watched him clean the wound, assess the damage, start stitching. She'd seen her share of injuries during her 1 semester of nursing school, but this was different. More brutal. More real. He's lucky to be alive, the doctor said. Another few hours in sepsis would have killed him. Can you save him? I can try, but he needs rest, real rest, and someone to watch him. I'll watch him. The doctor glanced at her. You his girlfriend? No. Wife? No. Then what are you? Emma looked at Vincent, at his closed eyes, his pale face, his blood all over her hands. I'm the person who won't let him she said. The doctor nodded like that was answer enough. It took an hour. Cleaning, stitching, bandaging. Antibiotics pumped straight into Vincent's arm. Fluids to replace the blood he'd lost. By the time the doctor finished, Vincent was unconscious, and Emma's arms were numb from holding the twins. He'll sleep for a while, the doctor said. Let him. His body needs to heal. Will he be okay? If he rests, yes. If he doesn't, the doctor shrugged. Then you'll be burying him in a week. He packed up his bag and left. Tony came back in. Well, Kim, he needs rest, Emma said. Actual rest. Not running, not fighting. Rest. Then he comes home with us. We'll take care of him. You'll use him. There's a difference. We'll protect him. And his kids. From his own brother. How does that work exactly? Tony sighed. Look, I get it. You don't trust us. You don't know us. But we're his family. And family doesn't abandon family. Vincent abandoned you. No, he took a break to be a father, to honor Sophia. We understood that, but the break's over. The family needs him. Emma looked at Vincent sleeping on the floor, at Lucia and Marco in her arms, at the impossible choice in front of her. He told me about the enforcer work, she said quietly. Tony stiffened. Did he? Is it true, everything he did? You want a list, dates and times, names of the victims. I want to know who I'm protecting. You're protecting a man who did what he had to do to survive him, who followed orders, who kept his family safe the only way he knew how. Tony met her eyes. You want to judge him for that, fine, but don't pretend you wouldn't do the same in his position. I would never. No. What about now you're harboring a fugitive? You've crossed state lines with stolen children. They're not stolen. Try explaining that to a judge. You've bought illegal drugs. You've lied to the police. Did you report that shooting in Brooklyn? No, didn't think so. Tony smiled grimly. Congratulations, Emma. You're one of us now. Emma's stomach turned. Because he was right. She'd broken so many laws in the last 3 days, she'd lost count. Had become exactly what she'd always sworn she'd never be. A criminal. What do you want from me? She asked. I want you to convince Vincent to come home, to take his place in the family, to deal with Marco before Marco deals with him. And if I can't, then you run and you keep running until they catch you, which they will, eventually. Emma looked down at the twins. They'd finally fallen asleep, exhausted from crying. Their tiny faces were peaceful, trusting. They had no idea what kind of world they had been born into. I need to think, Emma said. You've got until Vinny wakes up. After that, we were making the choice for you. Tony and Polly left. Emma sat on the floor next to Vincent, the twins in her lap, and tried to figure out what to do. The smart move was obvious. Run. Take the babies and disappear. Let Vincent deal with his family alone. But Emma had never been good at smart moves. She looked at Vincent's face, slack in sleep, thought about the way he held his children, the way he'd promised to keep them safe, the way he'd looked at her like she was the answer to a prayer. She couldn't abandon him, but she couldn't let him go back to the mob either. There had to be another option. Had to be a third choice that didn't end with everyone dead or imprisoned or running forever. Emma's phone was still off. She turned it on. 17 missed calls, 10 voicemails, all from Ray. She listened to the first one. Emma, it's Ray. Where are you? I'm worried. Call me back. The second. Emma, seriously, call me. I don't care what trouble you're in. We can fix it. The third. Emma, please. Your landlord called, said you moved out without notice. What's going on? Talk to me. The last one from this morning. Emma, if you don't call me back in 24 hours, I'm calling the police. I'm serious. I need to know you're alive. Emma closed her eyes. Ray. Good, decent Ray who'd never asked for anything except honesty. And she'd lied to him from the start. Her fingers hovered over his number. She could call, could tell him everything, could ask for help. But what could Ray do? He was a diner owner in Brooklyn, not a mob enforcer, not someone who could protect her from the Moretti family. She put the phone down. Vincent stirred, his eyes open. Emma, right here. The babies? Asleep. He tried to sit up. Emma pushed him back down. Don't. Doctor said you need rest. Tony is waiting for you to wake up so he can convince you to go back. Vincent's jaw tightened. I'm not going back. He said your brother's dangerous, that he might come after the twins. Marco wouldn't, Vincent stopped. Actually, he might, if he's using again. So what do? We run like we planned. And if they find us, we run again. Vincent, that's not a life. Not for you, not for the babies, not for... Emma stopped. Not for you, Vincent finished. He reached up and touched her face. I know what I'm asking. And I know it's not fair. None of this is fair. No, but it's what we've got. His hand dropped. You can leave, you know. Tony will get you back to Brooklyn. Back to your life. I don't have a life to go back to. You could build a new one. So could you. Vincent smiled slightly. We're quite a pair, aren't we? The worst. The absolute worst. They sat in silence. Emma listened to the twins breathe, felt Vincent's pulse under her fingertips where she was still checking for fever. There might be another way, Vincent said suddenly. What way? I go back, just long enough to deal with Marco. Set things straight, then I leave, for real this time. They'll never let you leave again. They will if I make it worth their while. How by... Vincent's eyes went distant. I know things, about the family, about operations they'd rather keep quiet. I could trade that information. For our freedom. That's blackmail. That's survival. Emma thought about it. What if it doesn't work? What if they decide you're too much of a liability? Then you take the babies and you run. You don't look back. You don't mourn me. You just keep them safe. Vincent, promise me, Emma, if this goes wrong, you save my children. Emma's throat caught. I promise. Good. Vincent closed his eyes. Now, help me stand up. We're going to talk to Tony. You can barely walk. Then carry me. You weigh like 200 pounds. Then I'll crawl, but I'm doing this tonight before I lose my nerve. Emma helped him up. He swayed, nearly fell. She caught him. This is a terrible idea, she said. Most of my ideas are. They made it to the door. Tony and Polly were sitting in the car, outside, waiting. Vincent knocked on the window. Tony rolled it down. I'll come back, Vincent said. And one condition. Name it. Emma and the babies stay here, under protection. If anything happens to me, you get them new identities. New lives, somewhere safe. Tony considered. Deal. I want it in writing. You don't trust your own cousin? I don't trust anyone who works for the family, not anymore. Tony pulled out a notebook, wrote something, signed it, handed it to Vincent. Vincent read it, then passed it to Emma. She scanned the words, legal gibberish mostly, but the intent was clear. If Vincent died, the family would protect Emma and the twins. This doesn't mean anything, Emma said. It's not legally binding. It's binding in the ways that matter, Tony said. Family honor, blood oaths, the old rules. Emma wanted to argue. Instead, she watched Vincent get into the car. Wait, she said, when will you be back? A week, maybe 2. And if you're not, Vincent looked at her. Then you know what to do. The car pulled away. Emma stood in the driveway holding the twins, watching the taillights disappear into the forest. She just let Vincent Moretti walk back into the life he'd been running from, and she had no idea if she'd ever see him again. Emma stood in the empty driveway until the cold forced her inside. The twins were both asleep, oblivious to the fact that their father had just left them. Again, she locked every door, every window. Then she sat in the dark with a kitchen knife in her lap and waited for morning. It came slowly. Gray light filtering through dirty windows. The twins waking up crying. Emma going through the motions, bottles, diapers, rocking, soothing, while her mind stayed on that car disappearing into the trees. Vincent had been gone 6 hours. Emma's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello? It's Tony. Vincent wanted me to tell you he's okay. We're in Boston. Let me talk to him. He's resting. I don't care. Put him on. A pause, then Vincent's voice weak but alive. Emma, you're an idiot. I know. You could barely stand and you got in a car with them. I had to. Why did you have to? Because Marco made a call this morning, put 100,000 on my head, on the twins' heads. Vincent's voice cracked. If I don't deal with him now, we'll never be safe. Emma's stomach dropped. 100,000? Yeah. Vincent, I know it's bad, but I'm going to fix it. I promise. How? By doing what I should have done months ago, by standing up to my brother and ending this. And if he kills you first, he won't. You don't know that. No, but I have to try. Vincent was quiet for a moment. How are the babies? Asleep, finally. Good, that's good. Another pause. Emma, if something happens, don't. If something happens, Tony has instructions. Money, papers, everything you need. You'll be taken care of. I don't want to be taken care of. I want you to come back. I will, I swear. The line went dead. Emma threw the phone across the room. It hit the wall and shattered. She didn't care. The first day was the worst. Emma jumped at every sound, checked the doors every 10 minutes, kept the knife within reach at all times. The twins sensed her fear. They were fussier than usual, crying more, sleeping less. Emma walked circles around the cabin with them, singing songs she barely remembered, making promises she didn't know if she could keep. By nightfall, she was exhausted. She put the twins down in the makeshift crib and collapsed on the couch. That's when she heard the car. Emma grabbed the knife and ran to the window. A sedan. Not Tony's. Someone else. The car door opened. Frank stepped out. Emma's blood went cold. She positioned herself between the door and the bedroom where the twins slept. Frank knocked. Emma, I know you're in there. She didn't answer. I need to talk to you, please. Go away. I can explain. You sold us out. You told them where we were. Where? I had to. Frank's voice was strained. They had my daughter. Said they'd kill her if I didn't cooperate. Emma's grip on the knife tightened. I don't believe you. I brought proof. Something slid under the door, a photograph. Emma picked it up. A young woman, early 20s, Frank's eyes tied to a chair. Today's newspaper in her lap. They took her 3 days ago, Frank said through the door. Said they'd let her go if I gave up Vincent. So I did, and they let her go. But Emma, his voice broke. They're coming back, for you, for the babies. When? Tonight, maybe sooner. Tony called me, said to warn you, said Vincent made a deal, but Marco's refusing to honor it. Emma's heart stopped. What kind of deal? Vincent offered to come back permanently, take over the family from Marco, in exchange for your safety and the twins. But Marco, Frank paused. Marco shot him. The knife fell from Emma's hand. What? He's alive. Barely. Tony's got him at a hospital under a fake name. But Marco knows about this place now, knows you're here alone. Emma couldn't breathe. Vincent shot. Again, maybe dying. And she was alone with 2 babies and men coming to kill them. What do I do? Her voice sounded small, scared. You run, right now. I've got a car. I'll take you somewhere safe. How do I know you won't sell me out again? Because my daughter's safe now, and I owe Vincent for not killing me when he had the chance. Frank's voice was urgent. Emma, please, we have maybe an hour before they get here. We need to go. Emma looked at the twins sleeping in the bedroom, at the life she'd chosen 3 days ago in Brooklyn, at the shattered phone on the floor. She'd made so many mistakes, trusted the wrong people, believed the wrong promises, but she couldn't run forever. No, she said. What? I'm not running. Emma, they'll kill you. Then they kill me, but I'm done running. That's suicide. That's standing up. Emma picked up the knife. You want to help Auditus, that hospital. Make sure Vincent lives. That's all I need from you. And the twins are staying with me. She heard Frank swear, then footsteps, the car starting, driving away. Emma was alone again. She had maybe an hour, maybe less. Emma moved fast. She fed the twins, changed them, strapped them into the car seats. Then she grabbed every weapon she could find, knives from the kitchen, a baseball bat from the closet, a fireplace poker. She positioned furniture in front of the doors, broke the remaining windows so she'd hear anyone trying to climb through, turned off all the lights. Then she waited in the dark with her children and her makeshift weapons and her absolute refusal to go down without a fight. 30 minutes passed, 45. At 52 minutes, she heard engines, multiple vehicles. Emma counted at least 3, maybe more. Doors opening, voices, men spreading out around the cabin. Emma's heart was hammering. She picked up the biggest knife and positioned herself in front of the twins. Emma Collins, a man's voice, not Tony, not Paulie, someone new. We know you're in there. She didn't answer. We just want to talk. Then talk from out there, Emma called back. That's not how this works. It is now. Laughter. You got guts, I'll give you that. But guts don't stop bullets. Neither does a cabin wall. You shoot, you might hit the babies. You really want to explain to the family that you killed 2 Moretti heirs. Silence. She'd surprised them. Who told you about the babies? The man asked. Vincent, before your boss shot him. Marco did what he had to do. Marco's a coward who shoots unarmed men. More silence. Emma heard whispered conversation. Then footsteps approaching the door. Here's what's going to happen, the man said. You're going to open this door. You're going to hand over those babies. And then you're going to walk away. Do that and you live. And if I don't, then we burn the cabin down with you inside. Emma looked at the twins, at Lucia and Marco sleeping peacefully in their car seats, named after their uncle, the uncle who wanted them dead. She thought about Vincent, about his promise to keep them safe, about the way he'd looked at her when he said, "You're not alone in this." But she was alone, completely alone, except Emma's shattered phone was on the floor. But there was another phone, Vincent's, in his jacket pocket, the jacket she'd been using as a blanket. She grabbed it, turned it on. It was locked. She tried the obvious passwords. 00001234. His birthday, she didn't know his birthday. The twins' birthday, she tried it. 6 digits, month, day, year. The phone unlocked. Emma scrolled through contacts. Found Tony. Hit call. It rang once. Vinny? It's Emma. They're here at the cabin. They're going to kill us. How many? I don't know. A lot. Stall them. I'm 20 minutes out. I don't have 20 minutes. Then make them. Tony's voice went hard. You hear me, Emma? You fight like hell, and you make them earn every second. The line went dead. Outside, someone was dousing the cabin walls with gasoline. Emma could smell it. Last chance, the man called. Open the door or we light it up. Emma looked at the twins, at the weapons scattered around her, at the impossible choice. She couldn't fight a dozen men, couldn't protect the babies and herself, couldn't wait. Emma grabbed Vincent's jacket, dug through the pockets, found what she was looking for, his wallet with $5,000 cash. She went to the door. I'll make you a deal. We're not interested in deals. $50,000, cash, right now. You let us walk away. Pause. You don't have $50,000. No, but I have $5,000 and I have information worth 10 times that. What information? Vincent told me where Sal kept his offshore accounts. The ones nobody else knows about. $20 million, maybe more. Emma was lying. She had no idea if Sal even had offshore accounts. But these were criminals. Criminals thought in terms of money. You're bluffing. Vincent was Sal's right hand for 15 years. You think Sal didn't tell him everything? More whispered conversation. Emma held her breath. Prove it, the man said. Tell us one account number. Emma's mind raced. She needed to buy time, needed to sound convincing. The Cayman account, under the name Robert Fitzgerald, routing number starts with 417. She had no idea if any of that was real. I'll give you the rest when we're clear of here. Or we torture it out of you. You could try, but Vincent made me memorize it in pieces. You hurt me, you scramble my brain, you get nothing. Emma heard footsteps coming closer. The doorknob turned, she raised the knife. Don't. The door opened anyway. A man stepped inside, late 30s, expensive suit. Dead eyes, two more men behind him. You, Emma? Yeah, I'm Sal's nephew, Dominic. He looked at her, at the knife, at the twins. You really think you can stop us? I think I can slow you down long enough for Tony to get here. Dominic smiled. Tony's not coming. He's at the hospital with Vinny, where he belongs, with family. The babies are family too. The babies are a complication. Marco wants them gone. Marco's insane. Marco's the boss. For now, Dominic's smile faded. What's that supposed to mean? Emma thought fast. Vincent made a recording before he went to meet Marco. Everything he knows about the family, names, dates, operations. If anything happens to him or his kids, that recording goes to the FBI. You're lying. You want to bet the entire organization on that? Dominic studied her face. Emma forced herself to hold his gaze, to not blink, to not show fear. Where's the recording? He asked finally. Safe place, cloud storage, password protected. Only Vincent and I know the password. And if we kill you, it auto-releases in 72 hours. More lies, but convincing ones. Emma could see Dominic calculating, weighing the risks. Marco's not going to like this, he said. Marco doesn't have to know. Oh, he'll know. He knows everything. Not if you tell him we were already gone when you got here. That someone tipped us off. That we disappeared. Dominic considered. And the account information, I'll send it to you, all of it. Once I know we're safe. How do I know you'll keep your word? How do I know you will? They stared at each other. Emma's hand was cramping around the knife handle. Her legs were shaking, but she didn't move. Finally, Dominic stepped back. You've got 24 hours. Send me the account numbers or we come back. And next time we're not talking first. He left. The other men followed. Emma heard engines starting, vehicles driving away. She collapsed against the wall, the knife clattering to the floor. They were gone. For now. Emma's phone, Vincent's phone rang. Tony. Emma, you there? They left. What did you do? I lied. A lot. About offshore accounts and recordings, and Emma laughed and it sounded hysterical. I have no idea what I'm doing. Doesn't matter. You bought us time. Tony paused. Vincent wants to talk to you. He's awake. Barely, but he's insisting. The phone changed hands. Vincent's voice came through weak and slurred. Emma, you're alive. Mostly, Marco, Vincent coughed. He's worse than I thought. Tony says you told Dominic about accounts. I made it up. I'm sorry. I didn't know what else to. It's brilliant, because it's true. Emma's brain stopped. What? Sal did have offshore accounts, 23 million. I'm the only one who knows the numbers. Vincent's breathing was labored. I was going to use it to disappear, to start over with the kids. But now what? Now I'm going to use it to buy our freedom. All of us. Vincent, listen to me. Tony's going to bring you to Boston, to the hospital. We're going to make a deal with the family. The account numbers for guaranteed safety, ironclad, permanent. They'll never agree to that. They will when they realize I'm the only thing standing between them and a prison sentence. Vincent coughed again harder. The recording you mentioned, I actually made one. Years ago, insurance policy. If I die, it goes public. But if they leave us alone, if they let us go, they keep their empire and I keep my family. That's blackmail. That's survival. And it's going to work. Emma wanted to believe him, wanted to trust that this nightmare was almost over. But she'd been trusting people for 4 days and it kept going wrong. What if it doesn't work, she asked. Then you take the babies and you run. Like I told you, like you promised. I'm tired of running. Me too. So let's end this. Tonight. Emma heard a car approaching. She grabbed the knife again, ready to fight. Tony's sedan pulled up. He got out, hands visible. It's me. Come on, we need to move. Emma looked at the twins, at the cabin, at the life she'd been trying to build out of ashes and hope. Then she grabbed the car seats and walked out the door. The drive to Boston took 3 hours. Emma held the twins the entire time, watching the forest give way to highway, give way to city. Tony drove in silence until they were almost there. He really loves you, you know, Tony said suddenly. What? Vinny, he loves you. I can see it. Emma's throat tightened. He barely knows me. He knows enough, and so do I. You're good for him, good for the kids. I'm a waitress from Brooklyn who makes terrible decisions. You're a woman who saved a dying stranger because it was right. That's not terrible. That's brave. Everyone keeps saying that. I don't feel brave. Bravery never does. It just feels like fear you keep moving through. They pulled up to a hospital. Tony parked in a loading zone and led Emma through a side entrance. No questions, no security. The Moretti family had reach. Vincent was in a private room on the 4th floor. Emma saw him and nearly cried. He looked terrible, pale, hooked up to machines, bruises covering his face, but alive, breathing. Hey, he said when he saw her. Hey, yourself. You okay? Better than you. Low bar. Vincent tried to smile. It didn't quite work. Did they hurt you? No, I think I scared them. Good, that's my girl. The words hung in the air. My girl. Like it was true, like they were something more than strangers thrown together by violence and desperation. Emma set down the car seats. Lucia and Marco were both awake, staring at their father like they'd been waiting for him. Can I? Vincent reached out. Emma picked up Lucia and carefully placed her in his arms. Vincent's face did something complicated. Relief, joy. Pain. I'm sorry, he whispered to his daughter, for leaving, for putting you in danger, for everything. She forgives you, Emma said. How do you know? Because she's your daughter, and daughters forgive their fathers, eventually. Vincent looked at her. Did you forgive yours? I never had to. He died before I could be mad at him. I'm sorry. Don't be. I had my mom, that was enough. Tony cleared his throat. We should talk strategy. The family's meeting in an hour. We need to be ready. What's the play? Vincent asked. You offer the account numbers. I verify them. If they check out, the family agrees to let you go. Clean break, no retaliation. And if they refuse, then I release the recording and we all go down together. Vincent nodded. Emma, you should go. Take the baby somewhere safe. You don't need to be part of this. Yes, I do. Emma, you don't get to decide anymore. I'm in this. All the way. Vincent looked like he wanted to argue. Instead, he said, okay, but you stay behind me. If shooting starts, I run. With the babies, I know. Good. The hour passed too fast. Tony helped Vincent into a wheelchair. They couldn't walk him into a family meeting bleeding from a gunshot wound, but they couldn't leave him defenseless either. Compromise was a wheelchair and a gun hidden under the blanket. Emma carried the twins. Nobody questioned her presence. Nobody questioned anything. The Moretti family was used to unusual circumstances. The meeting was in a private room at the back of the hospital. Emma counted 15 men, All of them stared when she walked in. Marco was at the head of the table. He looked like Vincent, but wrong. Same dark eyes, but fevered. Same strong jaw, but twitching. He was high. Emma could see it from across the room. "Baby brother," Marco said. His voice was rough. "Heard you got shot." "Heard it was you who shot me." "Heard right," Marco smiled. "Nothing personal, business. Killing your own brother is personal. Not when that brother's a liability." Vincent wheeled himself closer. "I'm here to make a deal. I don't make deals with traitors." "You will with this one." Vincent pulled out a piece of paper. $23 million in offshore accounts. Sal's retirement fund. "I'm the only one who knows the access codes." The room went silent. Marco's eyes fixed on the paper. "You're lying. Tony verified it. The money's real. And you'll just hand it over. In exchange for permanent immunity. For me, for my kids, for Emma." We walk away. "You never contact us again. We never contact you. Clean break." Marco laughed. "You think I'm stupid? You give us the money, what's to stop you from talking, from going to the feds?" Vincent pulled out a phone, hit play. A voice filled the room, Sal's voice, talking about operations, murders, payoffs, everything. "I have 40 hours of recordings," Vincent said. "Sal trusted me, told me everything. If anything happens to me or my family, it all goes public. FBI, DEA, every agency with initials." Marco's face went dark. "You wouldn't dare. Try me." They stared at each other, brothers, enemies. Emma held her breath. Finally, Marco spoke. "I want all of it, the money and the recordings." "No, then no deal." Tony stepped forward. "Think about this. 23 million is a lot of money. Enough to expand operations. Enough to make you the most powerful boss since Sal. But only if Vincent disappears quietly. If this goes public, we all go down. I don't care. You should, because half the men in this room are already looking for reasons to replace you. Don't give them one." Emma saw it then. The calculation in the other men's eyes. They didn't like Marco, didn't trust him, were waiting for an excuse. Marco saw it too. His hand went to his waistband. Vincent moved faster than Emma thought possible, pulling the gun from under his blanket. "Don't," Vincent said quietly. "You won't shoot me. I'm your brother." "You shot me first." They faced each other across the table. Emma's heart was trying to explode. The twins were crying. Everything was spiraling. Tony stepped between them. "Enough, both of you. We're family. We don't do this." "He's not family," Marco spat. "He abandoned us, chose some waitress and his bastard kids over blood." Vincent's finger tightened on the trigger. Emma saw it happening, saw the moment he decided. "Vincent, don't," she said. He looked at her, at the twins in her arms, at the life they could have if he just didn't pull the trigger. He lowered the gun. "Much the money," Vincent said. "Take the accounts. We're done forever." Marco smiled. It was ugly. "You always were weak, Vinny, just like Dad said." "Dad was wrong about a lot of things, but he was right about you. He said you'd destroy this family. Looks like he was right." Vincent wheeled himself toward the door. Emma followed. Tony moved to join them. "You too?" Marco asked. "You're leaving?" "Yeah, I'm done watching you burn everything down." Tony looked at the other men. "Anyone else want out?" 3 men stood, then 4, then 6. Marco's face went purple. "You're all traitors." "We're survivors," one of the men said, "and you're a dead man walking." They left, all of them, walking out of the family, out of the life, into uncertainty. In the hospital parking lot, Vincent finally let himself collapse. Emma caught him barely. "Hospital," she said. "Real hospital. Now." "Can't. They'll ask questions." "I don't care. You need real medical care or you're going to die." Vincent looked at her. "You'd care if I died." "Of course I'd care, you idiot." "Why?" Emma's throat closed. Because somewhere in the last 4 days, Vincent Moretti had become important, had become someone she couldn't imagine living without. "Because I love you, Beta," she said. The words came out before she could stop them. "I love you and I love your children, and I want us to be a family. A real family. Not running, not hiding, just us." Vincent stared at her. "Emma, I know it's crazy, I know it's too fast. I know I'm probably making another terrible decision, but I don't care. I'm tired of being alone. I'm tired of being scared. I want this. I want you. Vincent pulled her down and kissed her. It was soft and desperate and tasted like blood and hope. When they broke apart, he was crying. I love you too, he whispered. God help me. I love you too. Tony cleared his throat. This is touching, really, but Vinny's still bleeding. So maybe we save the romance for after the hospital. They took Vincent to a small clinic outside the city. The doctor who treated him was old and asked no questions. He stitched, bandaged, prescribed antibiotics and rest. You're going to live, the doctor said. Barely, but you'll live. Thanks, Vincent managed. They found a motel, 2 rooms. Emma took the twins into one. Vincent collapsed in the other. Tony stood guard outside. Emma fed the babies, changed them, got them settled. Then she sat on the bed and finally let herself fall apart. 4 days. 4 days since she'd found Vincent in that alley. 4 days since her life had imploded. And now what? What happened now? A knock on the connecting door. Vincent leaning on the frame. Can I come in? You should be resting. I'll rest when I'm dead. He limped over and sat beside her on the bed. We need to talk. About what happens next, where we go from here. Emma looked at the twins sleeping peacefully. I don't know. I've been making this up as I go. Me too. Vincent took her hand. But I know what I want. I want to find somewhere quiet, somewhere the twins can grow up normal. I want to teach them to ride bikes and help with homework and embarrass them at their graduations. I want to grow old and boring and ordinary. With me, if you'll have me, Vincent's voice went soft. I know I'm not much, ex-mobster, terrible father, bullet magnet, but I love you, Emma Collins. And if you'll give me a chance, I'll spend the rest of my life proving I'm worth the risk you took on me. Emma felt tears on her face. Yes. Yes, yes, to all of it. The quiet life, the growing old, the terrible dad jokes at graduation. All of it. Vincent kissed her again. Longer this time, like he was trying to memorize the feel of her. Thank you, he whispered against her lips, for saving me, for saving us. Thank you for giving me a reason to. They sat together in the cheap motel room, holding hands, watching the twins sleep. Outside, the city moved on without them. The mob would find a new boss. The family would rebuild. Life would go on. And somewhere in Vermont or Montana or wherever they ended up, Vincent Moretti and Emma Collins would build something new, something better, something worth all the blood and fear and impossible choices. They'd be a family, not perfect, not safe, but theirs. And that was more than either of them had ever dreamed of having. The twins stirred. Lucia opened her eyes and saw Emma. She didn't cry, just stared with those dark Moretti eyes and made a sound that might have been contentment. She knows, Vincent said softly. Knows what? That you're her mother now in all the ways that matter. Emma picked up Lucia and held her close. I'll try to be worthy of that. You already are. Marco started fussing. Vincent picked him up with his good arm. They sat there, 2 broken people, holding 2 babies, trying to figure out how to be whole. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't even close to perfect. But it was real and it was theirs, and it was enough. Emma looked at Vincent, at the man she'd saved, the man she'd chosen, the man she'd fallen in love with despite every logical reason not to. We're going to be okay, she said. It wasn't a question. It was a promise. To him, to the twins, to herself, and for the first time since that rainy night in Brooklyn, Emma Collins believed it might actually be true.